Before we do our first experiential meditation today, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about what the mind field itself means to me. I've been, again, fascinated by portals, and I wanted to revisit this idea this month as well. It's in fact the reason mindfulness is why I went back to get a higher degree in psychology after my ordination. I was looking for a way to make spirituality more accessible, first through the ministry and those of us at church and a more formal sense of spirituality. And then I became very curious about, well, how is that for others? What about people who may not even want to think about spirituality or think about God? But how can we think about opening that possibility of looking for that portal of ways to lead them to source without freaking them out with any terminology about it? So I even built an app for children. It was a meditation app called Third Eye. And it's now no longer available. It's being redone. I'm revisiting it. But for a while, it had a little avatar, and you got XP points, and you would get a little backpack after a while. And then it was in English and Spanish. And then during the pandemic, I put it into Arabic. Well, not myself, but I had it translated for us. So I was very proud of that. I'm not sure what happened in the ethers, but it's now, at the moment, no longer available, though, I'm going to figure out a way to get it back up there, maybe with some help of AI. But nonetheless, that was one of my attempts to get spirituality to the masses in some secular form. And then I also wrote, as I mentioned, 500 tenets, little ideas, mini sutras, and I called the whole collection the MindField. And it was a way for kids, in particular, kind of young adults, to find peace in a noisy world, and then, by extension, how to find their own voice in a noisy world. I thought today would read you the remaining 497 of them. No, just joking. They were never published, and I still find them applicable now, and there are a couple of them we will do today, in a way, by starting them out. Because this idea of mindfulness is just this practical tool of many of how to get into the sense of divine. I saw a meme the other day on the internet, and forgive the gender assignment, but it said something like, if you don't find God in the morning, then you will spend your entire day looking for him. And in metaphysics, in our own language, we would say, if you don't find time to commune with Source in the morning, you will spend your entire day seeking Mother, Father, God. And I get this. Even though we sometimes call ourselves seekers, I think in truth we really are no longer seeking. It is much more of a knowing. We therefore do not need to spend the morning hunting or striving, but more of a remembrance of saying, oh yes, that's right, I know this. This is associated with an entirely different feeling. Just as we think about it, seeking is outside, out there, in the future, earned, hunted down, the shoulda, coulda, woulda. But knowing has this more holistic feel to it, more of a, oh, it's not just grasping, as the Buddhists would say. It is almost a releasing into my own knowledge. What do I already know? It is, and I've picked up this phrase from Paul Selig lately, called the act of being. Think of that again, the act of being. I like this because we tend to think of act as doing something, of creating, of manifesting, of producing. But we're not always useful at that. The act of being is alive, not in the traditional sense of doing, but the deliberate act of being, consciously saying, I'm going to act on just being. That's how we raise our consciousness, the C of AMC. I also find it a simpler act. Instead of figuring out what does my day look like, it's more, what's my day feel like? Sometimes I do leadership work with small companies, and when they don't quite know where their direction is, or they've lost their mission statement, or they've lost their path, I say, well, don't worry about what will be achieved, but what does it feel like? And suddenly they get it. It's almost a way, I trick them. It's almost a way of saying, did you think about the divinity in this? And sometimes our mental mind is a hard thing to get around. But if we think through feeling, it just pauses our thinking for a minute. It gives us more space for that. And it works quite well. Some of them are a little confused at first with that term, feeling. You mean emotion? I said, well, maybe. But feeling is not only emotion. Feeling is a sense. Feeling is a presence. Feeling is closer to God. I thought we would spend our time together then today in this third space with like-minded souls. We will be doing 2 deep meditations today. Each one we will set up with a short collective reading from the bulletin. There's very little singing today, and instead we will use the transportive gifts of Julia with her music, her chimes, the bowls, and they'll help us guide us through the mind field into the field of the divine. So if you would, Rix, if you would please lower the lights just a touch. We will begin with the invitatory. And I'll begin, you will respond, I'll begin, and then I'll guide you through a meditation called Hoodie, during which you will hear some of Julia's gracious tones. And we begin. Imagine yourself draped head to toe in a hooded robe. It calms your body and soothes your mind. I allow all thought to exist outside the hoodie, creating a neutral space between inside and out. From this place, we can watch thoughts pass like clouds and allow feelings to flow like waves in an ocean of emotion. Please get yourself in a comfortable position. Imagine a guide, a teacher, a loved one, your higher self, approaching you from the back and gently placing a robe on your shoulder. Notice the sudden peace, the sudden calm, the sudden knowing. Notice how it soothes your body, relaxes your muscles, warms your inner organs for healing. A divine cape of any color you wish. As you absorb this feeling, we're going to go a little deeper in the meditation. Now that cape has a hood, and ever so gently it comes up over your ears, focusing your hearing. You hear yourself, you hear your knowing, you hear the divine. Let that hoodie come up even further and cover your eyes, going deeper and deeper. Now everything you see, any movie that's playing, any imagery, is in line with your hearing, in line with the divine. in line with your higher self. As we go even deeper, the hoodie now covers the tip of our nose. Every breath is the breath of God. Every exhale is your response. Your breath is in line with your imagery, is in line with your hearing, is in line with higher self, is in line with the divine. Sit in this whole hoodie for just a moment longer. So gently, we're going to slowly retract the hoodie, revealing your breath. You can breathe more freely. The hoodie retracts, releasing imagery, maybe even gently opening your eyes. Retracts, opening your ears to my voice, the sounds in this chapel. The echo of God everywhere. Let the hoodie now be draped on your shoulders. The cape still on for the remainder of this service. And ever so gently, moving those beautiful eyes around inside your head. Gently open them, as the Buddhists would say, at half. Eyes at half. Keeping that sensation. The gift of remembering our own divinity is not a selfish act, because once you recognize the difference between thought and the observance of thought, you know when you are in one or the other, and there is more divine space in which we can simply be. You were ever so gently, if you have not already, opened your eyes. And we're going to move on to a new meditation from the internal field to the external field. And we will be reading the responsorial and doing one more meditation for today. And following along. The idea is not to calm the brain, but to give it a large enough mind field that individual thoughts can run free without bullying the others. Sitting in stillness does not guarantee that peace will descend upon us. What is important is the sittingness, perhaps even more so when there is no peace. Sitting forces us to watch and pay attention. We often believe that if the ego is softened, we will be lost into nothingness. As if a cloud does not meld into the sky. A drop of water does not gain the ocean, or our breath does not become the wind. Ever so gently, please close your eyes. It's often that when the noise of the world comes into our awareness, it's either complaints of the past or worries about the future. It's very understandable, but not very helpful to our act of being. Being must be in the present, or what I like to call God's time zone. Not the past, not the future, the eternal now. In your own time, in your own way, commune with God, the source, and stay in the presence, in the present. Any thought you have, let it is not of this moment, let it drift away. We are here and only here. Notice how the here and now is for ourselves. Notice there's a presence that meets us immediately in the present and no other time zone. Absorb this gift. Notice how the now suddenly extends beyond time and space. The now includes each other in this chapel. The now includes those of us online. Loved ones, guides, teachers, and spirit. In fact, their presence is only in the now. Our communion. Let us extend that beyond. The now, the gift, the presence goes to loved ones who are not here in the physical presence of the planet right now. It goes to loved ones who are in the physical, but may not be in our immediate presence. It goes to family, to friends. They are, by your being in the presence, aware of the presence as well. Your gift is mere presence. Let that extend wider communities, perhaps work colleagues, institutions, the state, the county. Our whole country is just in the present, and therefore receptive to the all of God. See our entire world as present. Just present. And absorbing divine energy. As these feelings, like waves of an ocean, it's covering the whole planet. And be waves of water, waves of water, waves of consciousness. Notice it's moving. God energy is never passive, but constantly moving, like the waves of an ocean, like feeling, like awareness, like your own consciousness. God is everywhere. When we stay in the moment. Let those final notes Bring your full consciousness back to the chapel. Those of you online, come join. Ever so gently release the depth of this experience, but not the feeling of the experience. And may I be so bold as to hope it lasts an entire week until we meet again. Stay in the presence of God.